We're out here today. It's a beautiful day on the mountain bike trails at Giants Ridge, and we're on the Alpine Mountain, and John Filander is just biking up the trail here, and he's going to stop a minute and talk to us today about mountain biking at Giants Ridge. Hi, John.
Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Good. This is the sort of the last part of the series we've been doing with you this summer about all of the summer sports here at Giants Ridge. And I was just telling the folks that we're going to talk about mountain biking today, and you're even going to tell us a little bit about hiking.
Sounds good.
And we're on the Alpine Mountain right now. And can you tell us where we are?
Okay, where we're located is we're going up the North Face Cat Track, which is basically the trailhead for our northernmost trails. Whether you're going to be hiking or mountain biking, you go up the North Face Cat Track towards the Cedar Trail, the Gold Trail, and some of the trails that are up on the mountain like the Birches Loop and the Sleeping Giant for hiking.
So a lot of our folks that are listening that cross-country ski know exactly where we are then right now.
Oh yeah. In fact, last year we had to have a ski race on this particular part of the mountain because we didn't have a whole lot of snow in the woods until later on. So a lot of the kids were skiing on this particular trail up until the middle of January last year.
Okay, and so last month we talked to you about just regular biking and biking on the Mesabi Trail, and today we're going to be talking about mountain biking. And can you tell us about the sport, maybe how long you've been doing it, the different kind of bike that you have, and the different experience it is mountain biking versus biking on a paved trail?
Well, yeah, you bet. Mountain biking is really my first love because you're out in the woods, you're in natural terrain, you're on a bicycle, which is just a pure form of transportation, but better than anything, the exercise level that you get going up the hill and the adrenaline factor of coming down is what really makes mountain biking so appealing to me personally. I do a fair amount of mountain biking along with road riding, but really this is what really kind of melts my butter. I love to mountain bike, especially now near the end of summer and fall when the bugs aren't bad in the woods anymore and the leaves are starting to turn, and it's just an excellent way to get out in the woods on some of the best trails in the Midwest.
And John, do we have different kinds of trails? I mean, if someone were just starting out to mountain bike, they wouldn't have to go on the more extreme, or I think you call them a single track trail. We do have some trails like the one we're on that's milder, that you don't have to be into that extreme mountain biking to enjoy.
And that really is the beauty of mountain biking at Giants Ridge, because we maintain our cross-country trail system. Over 60 kilometers of cross-country trails are like just the most perfect road in the woods you've ever want. You get a lot of climbing when you're going up and down the Gold and the Cedar, the Silver Trail, and some of those, but you don't have nearly the risk factor of some of the single track trails that you're having to dodge trees and jumping over rocks and all that. All that is very, that adds to the adrenaline factor of mountain biking, but the Giants Ridge trails, or the lion's share of them, are just basically the most beautiful roads in the woods you'd ever want, and mountain biking and hiking are open on those. We do have two areas where we have single track. We've got a downhill mountain bike course, which is on our Alpine Mountain, which is a real extreme mountain bike course where we have a race every year, and these are the Red Bull guys that have full suspension bikes with 6 inches of front and rear travel, and they're going as fast as they can off of 4-foot drops and going over berms, and we've got planked stairways and all that they're riding on. But we also have a brand new single track trail that's in the process of construction construction right now on the south side, where it goes up on our existing snowshoe trail and then comes down another one of our, basically it was an abandoned old cross-country trail. So we'll be adding about 2.5 miles of single track on the south side of the mountain, and that should be available by the middle of fall.
And I know, I'm just gonna scan real quick on your bike here. I know your bike, you were explaining to me earlier, has suspension on both the front and the back to handle some of those single track trails. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, and this is a very, very sophisticated mountain bike. You've got a front shock here, disc brakes, full rear suspension shocks, and disc rear brakes as well. And I think for riding the bulk of Giants Ridge trails, you really don't need all this much bike.
Okay.
The typical bike that we rent in our rental shop has front suspension, and that's more than adequate to handle the bulk of the trails here at Giants Ridge.
And I'm gonna scan up this way, and this is one of those nice trails that someone that was just starting out or didn't want the extreme would be able to rent a mountain bike from our rental shop and really enjoy this trail here. And look at that scenery, John. I bet you love seeing this.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just came back from a 2-week trip out in Colorado. Telluride, Crested Butte, some of the most beautiful areas in Colorado for mountain biking and hiking, but you know, Giants Ridge can rival any of those. You get on top of the hill after a big bike ride or a hike, and you can overlook the lakes, and you know, that's something we have here that Colorado doesn't have, is all the water. So we've got the vertical relief, 500 feet all the way up to the top, plus you can look down on the waterways of Wine and Sabin Lake, and especially when the leaves are starting to turn golden in the fall on all the aspen trees, it's just beautiful.
And hiking, I mean, the people that wanted to come out here and didn't want to mountain bike, but they could use these same trails for hiking, is that right?
That's right. We have 3 or 4 portions of our cross-country trails that we've got designated as hiking trails. What we call the Birches Loop uses part of our Laurentian Trail and Silver Trail. The Alpine Loop, the North Alpine Loop, uses part of the Gold and the Cedar Trail. And then our Sleeping Giant Loop utilizes some of our Bronze and Gold on that side, on the south side of our mountain. And these hiking trails are typically somewhere between 3 and 4 miles long. They'll take you up to the top of the mountain, most of them will, and so you'll get the vistas and you get the exercise of walking uphill or hiking uphill, and then the beauty of all the lakes and forest down below, and then the walk back down, and then just visit the bunkers for a burger afterwards.
So anyone that wants to hike our trails or mountain bike our trails, they can check in at the Giants Ridge Rental Shop.
That's right.
And they have maps there? They
have maps, and all we ask, the use of our trails is free. All we really look for is that everyone signs a waiver, and there's waiver boxes available.
Okay, and John, I'm gonna get this scenery one more time. I hope this camera can pick this up, but the mountain we're seeing just between the trail is actually on the other side of Wine and Sabin Lakes, right?
That's right.
And that's the view that a lot of people get when they're skiing here as well, if folks can see that mountain. Yep. So, John, thanks so much for joining us here today, and we're going into the peak of biking season, right? Mountain biking?
Absolutely. Once we get into August, the middle of August and September, that's when you want to be out in the woods. And it's cool, crisp mornings, the days into 60 to 70 degrees. There aren't any bugs. There were a few flies here this summer, but the bugs are gone and the beauty is there. So come on out in the next couple months to enjoy our trails.
And again, it is free to be out here on the trails.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, John. Enjoy the rest of mountain biking season.
Thank you.